What's going on, guys? It's your boy Beats by Ash, back at it again with another banger of a video. Today I am joined by my boy Aokar Ortiz.
You so fucking precious when you smile.
And at the time of this recording, the Starter Deck 11 Uta has just come out on February 2nd, which expands on the previous well-known theme known as the film package or the film engine, whatever you want to call it. There was also a special tournament, which is the first of its kind, where you would play exclusively with the starter deck versus other players. So we're going to talk about that too, but we're going to give you guys a complete rundown on this product, what cards are a reason to actually pick up this product, and as well, we're going to go over the promo cards that were exclusive to that starter deck tournament. And then finally, we're going to show you guys a deck list that's going to encompass some of the cards from this new starter deck, as well as some cards that are going to be released in the near future to show you guys the full potential of this new strategy and what implications it has on the game.
Alright, so let's get into it. So most of the cards in the starter deck are going to be reprints of the old film stuff from set 2. Unfortunately, we only get like 4 real new cards in the actual starter deck, but those are the only real usable ones that we're going to be really talking about.
All of the new cards you would say are somewhat viable, or no?
Yeah, all the new cards, all the promos that we're going to get, they're all usable in their own aspects, but the ones that are in the actual starter deck are probably the best ones.
Okay, and are the promos that come from that tournament you played in, are those exclusive to that event?
Yeah, so the way that it works is that, unfortunately, Bandai just forgot to mail everyone the participation promos. So there was only one participation pack per event. So everyone's going to have to wait like until March to get their actual promos, unfortunately.
And so are those cards ones that we're going to be wanting to play in this deck?
So we're not going to be using them in the main deck. We're going to be using the ones that come out in the structure deck. Because those are probably the best ones, but those are an option.
Okay, so I mean, that's good that like we're not going to be gatekept just because of that unexpected circumstance. Before we go over these new cards, I did want to ask you, it looks like most of these reprints are cards that really didn't necessarily need one because they were already low rarity. Was anything like the Nami Searcher reprinted? Anything is super rare?
No, it was just the common stuff in the rares. Nami did not get reprinted in the structure deck.
That is kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, I hope that kind of tells you guys that if you're on a budget, it might just be better for you guys to order only the singles that come out new in the starter deck if the prices are low on release, just because it's probably pretty easy to get a lot of those commons that you would be needing for the deck anyway. And I know sometimes these cards that come out in the starter decks can be like $2 or $3 on release, and you know, that's just something to keep an eye out for, because it's better to, you know, buy a playset of something that's like a couple bucks rather than just go buy the starter decks, unless you just want the cool packaging that kind of looks like a manga volume, because I think those retail for about like $13-14 depending on where you are, right?
Yeah, they're usually like $12.99 or something.
So that's just something to look out for, but Ortiz is going to start us off going through these new cards and kind of just give us his take on how you want to use these and like what the value is in putting these cards in the deck.
To be fair, the deck kind of builds itself. It's not very hard. The deck is just all film cards. The good cards that you're going to be getting in the structure deck are going to be the new blocker Uta. It's just a 3-drop 1k blocker.
3-drop 4k blocker?
Yeah, well, with 1k counter. You're never going to swing with it most of the time. But its effect, it just says at the end of the turn, discard an event, restand the film type character. I mean, it's pretty good if you're going to be using it on your bigger attackers like a Zoro or a Luffy. It's pretty good for blockers. The other events that you're going to care about are going to be Backlight. It's just a 2-drop event. says if your leader is Uta, choose one of the two. The first effect is just rest a 5 or less character. The other effect is kill a 5 or less that's rested. And that's probably the best possible effect. I mean, obviously, if you need to tap something and go for game, you can do that. But being able to kill something is just really, really strong for Tudon.
So that one's kind of like a new twist on the card that was previously released in the set 4 or set 5. The one that you used in the film Doflamingo deck, right? The Weaklings Deserve to Die, I think it is. Because that card, it did a similar effect, but it costed 5, right? It had that additional optionality of being able to do it during your turn or during the opponent's turn. But I feel like that card is really good on paper in general, but because of other factors such as like the deck itself and like what you're trying to do in that deck.
It also cost 5.
Yeah, it cost 5. Like, it didn't really get its time to shine, but I think that card being a good example of something just good value on paper kind of sets this card with medium to high expectations of, you know, being high potential in the meta, seeing as this effect kind of just does what you were trying to do with that card more efficiently, I would say, you know?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. Just Tudon, kill 5 to cost or less. It's pretty good. The other events, you have New Genesis, which is just a 1-drop event. Lets you look at the top 3, add a film character, then you get to stand back up a Don. So it's just a free search. Probably one of the best cards in the deck. Just being able to search a card for free, no consequences.
I completely agree. Something that's big to take away here is it's honestly kind of confusing that they made it to where it costs 1 and you restand a Dawn. I thought it would just be so much easier if the card costed 0 and then it didn't restand a Dawn, because I know a lot of people have this connotation associated with events that are searchers that it's not necessarily worth it to play, because every other event that costs 1 in searches, you're essentially just going even in cards, but you still had to use a resource to do that. Considering this card doesn't require you to use a resource, it's just sheer consistency added to the strategy that already has some pretty high value cards. And one of the big factors that I feel like kind of stopped the Grape Doflamingo deck from rising to the top tiers was that you were really reliant on finding your film Nami. That was kind of the heart and soul on the deck, and you know, as well to some extent the 7-cost Luffy. And the fact that this card is just, you know, free every single time you see it, I think it definitely just adds a lot of merits to this strategy, and as well like previous iterations of, you know, a similar film strategy being very viable in the meta, because it kind of gets you closer to those combo pieces that were very pivotal in the deck.
Card's crazy.
Free search busted.
Then you have your last of main event, I'm Invincible. It's just a 3-drop event that just says stand your Muta leader active. It's just better Kid. It's just Kid on a card. It's really good. Lets you kill without your opponent expecting it, especially if you have multiples.
With that card though, you cannot trigger your leader ability a second time though, because it is once per turn. Yeah, that's important to note.
Leader ability is once per turn.
So those are all of the new cards that are in the film starter deck. We're now going to go over the promo cards that were exclusive to that tournament that we referred to at the beginning of the video.
So in the promo pack, there was 8 cards. There's the 8-drop 10k Luffy, vanilla. I mean, there's no reason to play that. There's Fleeting Lullaby, which is a 3-cost event that says if your leader is Uta, choose up to 2 characters your opponent controls that are 4 cost or less, and they don't restand during your next opponent's refresh phase. It's pretty good. It's just kind of a stall card. There's just no real reason to play it over being able to kill it. It's okay, but it's kind of for versatility more than anything.
That's fair. And I mean, I will say, you know, it has a trigger that lets you play it for free, which adds some merits, but at the end of the day, that's not going to make you like want to auto include it in the deck. I will say it's kind of like a miniature version of the 10-cost Doflamingo effect, but at this point in the game, I'm just not very high on events that present a similar value to a character, but don't leave you behind a body. And I think that's just a big point in like deck building right now in the current iteration of the game.
Yeah, and then the next event is going to be Where the Wind Blows. It just says if your leader is Uda, 2 costs. At the end of the turn, set all your film characters to active. It's pretty good. This is one of the ones that you could consider playing just because of the fact that it lets you swing with your blockers and not really care.
Would you say this one is gonna be better if you're trying to play a build that's like more aggressively slanted, because it allows you to pressure your opponent more easily without having to take risks such as what you're talking about where you'd be resting your blockers?
I mean, you could do that, but at the same time, there's like, you can only really build the deck one way. It's just you're playing all the film cards. So it's not really like you're deciding whether or not to be aggressive. You're just kind of going all in on film.
Okay.
And you already have so many ways to restand all your shit.
So there's just not that many cards in the pool yet, but as more cards get added to the film archetype, this could become relevant later, possibly.
Yeah, it could be pretty strong. We'll have to see. The next event is the World's Continuation. Just a 2 cost counter. If your leader's Uda, you return any number of characters from the board to the hand. For each character, you can give one of your leaders or characters plus 2k for every single character that you return. So if you have a full board, this card can definitely save you. Bounce back like a 7-drop, and then all the stuff that you got off of that can get you 6k by itself if you went into a Brook into a 3rd card. But it's also pretty good. It lets you reset your stuff like that. If you swung with your Luffy and you only have 2 Dawn up and you have a whole bunch of characters, you can bounce all that stuff back, play it out on the next turn.
This is a very interesting card, and I'm definitely excited to like see how this card actually plays in practice, because when we get into this deck list and when we get into the example game we're going to show for you guys, you'll soon notice that there's now such a high potential for you to continuously just cheat out multiple characters in one turn. And that was already an element that was present in like previous iterations of film decks, but I think now there's just a higher level of consistency for you to get to those 2 and 3 card combos. So I think this card doesn't sound amazing on paper, but I think it's definitely higher potential than it looks like at first glance.
And the last of the unique promos is going to be Top Musica. 2 cost main. You may rest one of your Uda and then rest 2 of your opponent's Dawn. It's okay. It's probably the worst out of all the promos, to be honest. It just seems like you're relying on your opponent having events. There's also an Altar Backlight, New Genesis, and I'm Invincible that come out of the promo pack.
Okay, well that's kind of cool. I mean, there's your reason to actually get the promo pack. Overall, like we said before, these cards from the promo pack are not necessary for the deck. You shouldn't feel left out if you weren't able to participate in this tournament, but I do think that some of the new alt arts are just a nice thing to pick up if you're looking forward to playing this deck in the new format. So now we're going to move on to the deck list that Ortiz has created for us today in this video, and this is actually going to be encompassing a couple of cards that do not come out in this starter deck and are not currently out, but they will be coming out in the Sanji and Zoro starter deck, which we should be getting very, very soon. And I think that it's important to showcase this build because this is really what's going to be the highest level of potential so far out of the cards that we know we're actually going to be getting, because before the new starter deck comes out, I think that the deck isn't as high power level as it will be, right?
Yeah, once we get the new Mihawk changes a lot. It just makes it so the deck can consistently cheat out Brook for really cheap. It's super, super nice being able to summon so many stuff.
So before we get into the cards, what is the general game plan of the deck? Like, how do you want to be using the leader to like get the most value? Like, what is your game plan?
I mean, you're just going to be swinging with your leader every single turn. It just gets you a free card from the top of your deck every single turn, because 99% of the time you're going to be hitting a film card. You're only playing 12 non-film cards in this deck.
Okay. One thing that really stands out to me with this leader and why I think it does have potential, unlike some other leaders that let you draw a card, you're not limited to a restriction by your hand size. I know there's like a couple other leaders, for example, the blue promo Luffy leader, which allowed you to draw a card but you had to have 5 or less cards, I believe. There's a decent amount of leaders that have somewhat of a restriction on the hand in order to generate additional card advantage, whereas this leader, as long as you have enough targets, like he just said, you're always just going to be accruing advantage, and over time, that's going to allow us to grind out our opponent, because one of the things that Ortiz brought up is that the biggest issue with the Film Doffy deck was not the power level of the engine, but the fact that you ran out of cards too quickly. This deck really allows us to capitalize on that previous weakness of the strategy.
Oh, absolutely. So for the non-film stuff, because the film stuff's pretty self-explanatory, you have Ezo. Some people are playing 4, but Ezo's just the generic good 2K. Tap something 4 or less whenever you play it. Being able to combine that with your backlight's pretty strong, especially because you can get it off something like your Eustace Captain Kidd, one of the high drops for the deck. This card is super nice because it can just summon you out like a Nami, or it can bring you out a Law, which lets you combo off with pretty low Dawn count. But the fact you can change your targets to this, because your deck is going to be pretty well in hand size, you can just discard and you have pretty good blockers you can use to stop it from being killed.
Now, I know we haven't seen the 8-drop Captain Kidd in quite some time, and personally, it's one of my favorite cards in the game and has been for some time. What has really allowed us to put this guy back into our deck in this meta? Because I know a big thing for me is that I noticed a lot of people not running this card in their deck whenever yellow started becoming popular, because obviously yellow has certain innate advantages towards, popping high costed cards, such as if the guy plays Katakuri into your Kidd, it's such a high loss of tempo. Why is this guy good again?
I mean, it's good against basically anything that's not Sakazuki. Up into Sakazuki, you just don't play it. Into yellow, I mean, you're just swinging at them every single turn. You're really a pretty fast deck. You're going to be cheating out a lot of stuff. If they can't deal with your board, they're kind of just dead.
Okay.
You don't really have to worry about them, but into Zoro or any red matchup, it's pretty nice.
Okay, cool. And I mean, we saw a couple of people make it into the top 16 at Nationals with Zoro, so I definitely think there's some merits to be playing this card in our deck if we're expecting to continue seeing Zoro have relatively decent success, which I know I have some faith in the Zoro deck, so that's always a good card to have to counteract those aggro matchups.
Yep, and then for the other big boy of the deck, you have your 10-drop Dofi. Card's really good. I mean, it just stops your opponent from playing for a turn.
Best card in the game, in my opinion.
Super, super strong. And then the last non-film card, you have your Dracula Mihawk. It's this card that comes out of Structured X Zoro and Sanji. The only card that you really need out of there. It comes out March. The fact that it's a 2K and lets you do all of that is just so nice. Okay, so Dracula Mihawk, 3-drop 4K slash with a 2K counter. On summon, it lets you play a 4 or less slash attribute, which is going to be either your Brook or your Zoro. And that's just really nice. Lets you cheat out something extremely easily, especially considering you can combo it with your Trafficker Law 2-drop if you're going second to play this for 1 Dawn, which lets you play out a total of 6 Dawn for essentially free.
Wait, I didn't realize this card was a 2K until just now. This card is literally insane.
Yep, this card's really good. Super strong, and if you just don't need a late game, you can just discard it.
Yeah, it's you were talking about how we want to minimize the amount of non-engine cards in the deck to get the most value out of our leader. Well, considering this card has a 2K counter, that's really good for what we're trying to do, because we don't have to occupy a slot that is already filled by a film card, because in general, 2K counters don't always have the best relevance to play them on the field. And so if you weren't playing this, it would probably just be another 2K that doesn't have much merit to be played onto the field from your hand. So you're not really paying anything to put this card in your deck, even though it's not a film card.
Yep. Now moving on to the film package, you're playing the 4 Usopp, 4 Tony Chopper, 4 Trafficker Law. Trafficker Law is probably the best combo starter in the deck. It just lets you, if you're going second, play something for 1 Dawn on turn 3.
You mean turn 2?
Or turn 2 into your Mihawk. Mihawk lets you get out Brook. Brook lets you get out a Nami. And that's just super strong.
If we're on the draw and we're starting with 4 Dawn, we're going to pay 1 Dawn for Law's ability, and then on play of our Nami, if we have the combo, we're going to pay 1 to search, and then we'll have 2 Dawn left over from that interaction, so we're still going to be able to afford to put out all those characters he just named while also replaying our 2-cost Law. So you're technically not even paying that cost of having to return something back to hand.
You can also just swing with it and then bounce it back to hand, so you can get a free attack. It's really, really strong. Next, we have the Nami Searcher. Super, super strong card. Just being able to play it out for free off of the Brook is super nice. It's a searcher, on play, on swing. Paying the 1 Dawn obviously sucks, but it's not that big of a deal in this deck. After the Nami, we have the 4-drop Brook. This card is the heart and soul of the deck, just letting you cheat out stuff for free. It's pretty nice, especially considering that this card itself can be cheated out multiple ways, such as, but not limited to, the 7-drop Luffy. Plays a 4 cost or less from the hand. Lets you either cheat out your Brook or your Zoro 4-drop, which is really nice because that's a 6k.
What I really like about this new deck is that one of the previous weaknesses was that Brook, although he is one of the most powerful effects like in the deck, you only had one way to cheat him out. And the addition of Mihawk just gives us more reason to maximize on Brook, because previously I just felt like it wasn't really worth it to play 4 copies of Brook, even though some people did, just because you didn't get to cheat him out as often as you would think in practice, and at the same time, you didn't have as valuable cards to be playing on the field with his effect before we got new support, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But now the fact you just have 8 ways of cheating him out in the deck is really, really nice.
For sure.
After the Zoro, we move on to the 3-drop Uda blocker. This card is really nice. Just being able to stand back up a blocker or your Searcher Nami after swinging with it, super, super nice. And worst comes to worst, it is just straight up a blocker. And after that, we have our events, playing 2 Backlight. Card is really good. You can pump it up to 4. Problem is, there's just not a lot of space in the deck. You probably have to take out like an Ezo or something. New Genesis, super, super strong. It's just a searcher for free. Something you can discard off of the Uda as well. And then you have I'm Invincible. This is the way you're going to be killing your opponent most of the time. It is straight up just a kid ability. And having this card that's not once per turn, swing twice with it, it's pretty strong.
This is definitely a card that you guys are going to want to try to play around now if you're going against this leader, because it's kind of like Diable Jambe in that way, where if you don't respect this card, you can easily get blown out. So it's definitely something to take note of, even if you aren't piloting the strategy.
Absolutely.
And one last question about the deck before we transition into the gameplay. Are you trying to go first or second with this
Most
deck?
of the time, you're going to be trying to go second just so you can play your Law and then start cheating out your stuff on turn 2. Plus, the additional draw is just really nice. But being on the play isn't bad either, because if you're going first, once you have your 3 Dawn, you can play your Law and swing for 6. Which lets you get that search for free. So that's pretty nice.
And do you have any advice on what the general mulligan plan would be for going first and second?
Typically, if you're going first or second, you're looking for the same general stuff with just a Law, maybe a Mihawk, and a Brook. You're just wanting to cheat out stuff as soon as possible so you can build up that momentum. That's super, super strong. And you're very much likely to find all the stuff that you need anyways because of your Uda being able to search you something every single turn.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's going to be it for the deck profile. So now we're going to transition into a game or two. We'll just see how much time we have, and Ortiz is going to take us through how to pilot this deck efficiently.
Okay, guys, we ended up finding the Uda mirror. Let's see what we can do here.
Okay, we've got a Chad in the chat.
Okay, let's see. We got double New Genesis, we got a Nami, we got a Luffy, and we got an Usopp. This is actually a pretty keepable hand. He's going to be making us go second, which kind of sucks.
You mean he's going to be making us going first?
Or he's going to make us go first, yes. Which is a little bit unfortunate. We would prefer to go second here. But this is a keepable hand, so we're going to keep it. We're going to draw our Dawn. We're going to pass. No reason to play our New Genesis yet. Probably need to search for our stuff later, though. Oh, well, that's a third New Genesis.
Okay, might have to use one here.
We're going to use a New Genesis. Let's grab ourselves a Uda.
And why do we want to grab Uda?
Uda, blocker, just allows us to protect ourselves during the late game. Because especially in this mirror, he's going to have a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
I was wondering if it might have been better to grab a second Nami, just because that way if he kills our first Nami, we still have something to do. But if
The
you,
fact-
if you
well-
think that's better, then that's fine.
We still have the 2 New Genesis,
Okay.
so we can search for it. Looking off the top, we get a Law. That is crazy. That
Let's
is
go, baby.
definitely what we're going to want to see. He takes it. We're going to play our Law. We're going to pass. Law here lets us cheat out a Nami next turn, or we can play a New Genesis before we do to see what we can grab. Let's see. He's swinging us for 6. We're going to take this, hope that we get a Mihawk. Ezo. Ezo's actually pretty good here. We can tap something out.
So do we usually want to take the first 2 hits in this deck?
Typically, there's no reason not to take the first couple of hits. Later on, we're definitely going to want to stay a minimum at 2. Just because in the Uda mirror, it's going to be very scary. He ended up playing a Nami no search. We like those. We like those a lot.
That seems kind of bad, right? Because
Yeah,
now,
that's pretty bad for him because now we can draw our backlight. That's great.
dude, we're literally about to blow out his back with our backlight.
Yes, sir. So we have 2 options here. We can either go for the swing with Uda to search our stuff first, or we can go with Law to search.
Should we start off with a New Genesis to see if it changes what we want to do?
We could start off with the New Genesis here.
I mean, what do you think?
I mean, no reason not to. Let's see what we get. New Genesis is going to get us an Uda more than likely.
Why can't we add Doffy?
That'd be too broken. We're probably going to let him swing with this Nami. We can kill it next turn for sure. Because I don't really want to go Ezo.
If we take our turn off to kill his Nami, then we would not be able to occupy as many characters on the board this turn.
Yeah,
right?
we're losing that board presence, which we already have through this Law.
Because I feel like this is like a really important turn to take control of the board, right?
Yeah, so here we can definitely take control of this board. We're going to start off by swinging with this Uda, see what we can get off the top. Oh, that's a Mihawk. That's unfortunate. We're fine with that, though. That is our confirmed next draw. So that just means that it's kind of weird, actually, looking back at it. We would love to draw that, but we could search off of our Nami.
Is there any reason we want to attack with this guy first, or no?
Attack with a Law?
Yeah, is
We
there any
could
reason-
attack with a Law.
Do you think that's good?
Attacking with the Law would allow us to do this. Swing for 5. Now we can play something. We can play our Nami effect. Let's
So
just
it
grab.
looks like the leader ability actually puts the card we revealed. In the
Oh,
bottom.
yeah, puts it on the bottom.
I was
can't read.
confused for a second. I thought you made it seem like we got to keep it on top, but then we revealed 3 and we didn't.
Yeah, I misread the leader. Cool, we got the search. Now we can end our turn. Our hand size is crazy, though.
Yeah, the fact that there's no hand limit in this deck for the leader ability is actually insane. It's probably the best aspect of the deck, in my opinion.
It is really, really good. He's gonna swing. 5 at lead. Let's go ahead and hit him with that 1K. We gotta make him work for those hits. 2K, I am fine with getting rid of Ezo. So next turn, we're gonna be paying 2 Dawn for sure here. Just because of our Nami and our Uda search.
We're definitely looking for a 4-drop Brook, and we found it
Oh
off
my
the
god,
top.
4-drop Brook is crazy here.
What I was thinking is, if we didn't draw the Brook, I feel like it would have been good to try to start off with New Genesis to try to find one, because that's the only combo piece we were missing, right?
Yep, let's go for Nami on Nami, searching. Ooh. So let's grab ourselves our 2K chopper because we got our Brook already.
So you don't care about having a second Brook?
We're not going to care about that second Brook just yet.
Okay.
Because we're going to be going Brook next turn.
And the reason why it's important for us to attack before we do anything else is because we are making an action that we would do no matter what on the turn, but we're doing it before we reveal any additional information to our opponent. So always remember that if you're going to do something on board, no matter what throughout the turn, do that first before you give out any information to the opponent.
Yep, we're going to want to make sure that they can get as little information and we can gain as much momentum as possible. He 2Ks. Alright, so we're now going to go backlight, kill his Nami, make sure he can no longer search off of it.
Okay.
That's going to be gaining us card and momentum every turn. And then we're going to play our Uda. Because now during the end phase, we can go Uda effect, trashing New Genesis to restand our own Nami.
So you don't care about New Genesis at this point?
New Genesis is just another card in hand. It's kind of, we only really use it whenever we need to search.
So you just value having another counter in hand at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's swinging at us for 5. Kind of annoying, but at this point in the game, we can just go discard our law because it's not really necessary.
I was wondering if there was any merit last turn to, instead of resting our Nami, to just play down our law and set up for this next turn.
So at this point in the game, I'd rather just play with my 7-drop Luffy. 7-drop Luffy just lets us get so much advantage just because we're now going to be able to cheat out 3 cards.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of,
So is there a reason you wanted to stay at 4 life?
the deck is just kind of scary. And I have plenty of cards in hand, so I'm not really worried about gaining or losing momentum.
Okay.
So let's see. Start this off. We're going to be swinging at... Ooh, they're going to be at 10 next turn. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, they're going to have the first priority to go for a 10-drop Doffy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, going second is just super strong. Unfortunate for us. Ooh, that's a backlight though. I will take that backlight.
Interesting.
Backlight here lets us either kill something or we can discard it to restand.
Okay.
Let's go for 6. It's a free card. Okay, so he's discarding instead of using his Luffy, so he's really silly. But now we have 7 left. We're gonna go 7-drop, play Brook, play Uta.
So you think it was better there to play Uta over Law? Is our Law just not doing anything at this point in the game?
Law is the early game combo starter. We could use it later, but Law just requires us to summon a 3 or less. The ability just to block with Uta is just kind of substantial at this
Okay.
point.
So Law is a card that you should feel comfortable discarding later in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? With this Uta?
Yes. So here, I'm gonna do something kind of risky. I'm gonna go Uta ability, discard backlight, restand, so we can protect our full field. Now, I'm probably gonna tank a couple of hits to gain some hand momentum, or hand advantage.
Now, if you notice here, we put 5 characters on the field this turn, while we left none of them rested, so we are not susceptible to him playing a 10-cost Doffy, which was very important this turn. Because had he, Doffy and got a lot of value, there's probably no way we could come back.
Yeah, 10-drop Doffy is very scary in this mirror, just because that card alone can just end the game. Oh, we see him use New Genesis.
It looks like he drew a 7-cost Luffy, right?
Yep. Oh, he's swinging with his 7-drop Luffy. We're gonna block. We're gonna 1k. Because now if he wants to swing, he has to confirm attach too. And I'm not really scared of that, because we have plenty of cards in hand that we can discard. Well, mostly just the Uta. But if he swings with more, we can just block her. And he just wasted cards in hand, because he's gonna be swinging us for 7. Oh.
I feel like we're more than willing to use one of our Utas this turn.
Yep.
Just because we already have 5 characters on the board. And we definitely want to be putting our 10 cost on the board next turn. So it's better that we at least clear up a space on the board, even if it seems bad at first glance.
10 cost advantage is all that we need. Ooh, that's 2k Mihawk though. We'll take those.
Man, this art is insane. I wish we would have had this card since the beginning and this game would just be over.
We'll take that.
So he's making a very bad decision tree here. Because he's really playing into our 10 cost Doffy. Because his Uta, although he did get to use the effect, it's only able to unrest 1 character, which means we're gonna have maximum targets for our 10 cost this turn.
And we drew an A-drop Kid. That's pretty nice as well. So we're gonna start off going with Brook, swing at Brook, getting rid of all of our small attackers. We're not really scared of that right now. Oh, he discarded a card in hand. Swing with Nami. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to search this turn.
That's fine. 10 cost Doffy is basically worth 3 searches.
We just want to get rid of 1 card on field here, so we can for sure minimize those attackers. Oh, look at that. He killed one of his cards instead of blocking, which now means that we can 10 drop 3 cards. And we still have...
Oh, you didn't use the effect.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because we need to discard an event.
Oh, you have to discard an event?
Yeah, so you have to discard a film event.
Okay. I was wondering about...
Or just a film card, or an event card, sorry.
Okay, I was wondering about that because I thought you would want to attack with your 7 cost Luffy here and then restand him during the end phase, but I just realized you cannot do that.
Ooh, look at that. He's swinging big. We're fine with this. We're just gonna go Uta. Seeing as we have another Uta in hand, we're not really scared of that.
One thing to know about this deck is you should feel very comfortable sacrificing your Utas to chump block in the later portions of the game, because you likely have quite a few big drops in hand that you would rather play without you already having 5 characters on the board, so you don't just lose advantage.
Very, very true. We're going to start swinging at his characters. Once we win the board, we'll win the game. 5 f5. We will be searching. Let's see. We already have a 7-drop in hand. We have 2 7-drops in hand. We're going to add this Usopp.
As you'll notice, the strategy we're playing here is very similar to some of the things you would want to be doing in the OG Green Eustace Kid deck, because since we have the 8-drop blocker kid, we don't have to pressure his life. We can whittle him down in cards, and he just will not ever be able to get through our defenses, right?
Yep. So now we've killed his entire board, except for this Luffy and this Uta. So now we can really just start making sure that he can't play the game. We're going to go effects.
You're going to replace something?
We're going to replace our Brook with an Uta, and then swing. Attach one here. No reason to swing with our 7-drop just yet.
That way, so there are 2 ways to look at this, because if we do not attack with this guy, we are still going to have a high value game piece on the board if he has a 10-cost Dofi, but if we're assuming he doesn't have that card, then we're going to be more happy that we actually pressured him for the damage, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the decision process, whether you want to attack or not.
Yeah, we're ahead right now, and we have a blocker up. But he could just swing 2 big guys at this kid and try to get rid of it permanently. So we're going to try to protect ourselves. Unfortunately, we could swing if we did have an event in hand, but we do not.
That's fair play, because at the same time, he hasn't shown us that he has a 10-cost Dofi, because if he had one, he would have played it on the previous past 2 turns.
But we did give him 2 life.
We did give him 2 life, but that's a reason to not give him another life.
Yep. We've given him enough cards in hand. We have to start minimizing his comeback potential. He swings 7 at 8. Okay, we like this.
Okay, he's trolling.
Looking to be over.
He had to give us a free dub for the YouTube. He's trolling.
Ooh, well that's 10 drop.
Okay, he actually had it.
Look at that. We predicted our opponent's 10 drop.
Well, that was really good that we left up our 7-cost Luffy.
Look at that. And because we do that, we get rewarded.
Now we have 3 attackers going into this turn. So that's going to be very important for us to be able to pressure his life total, because even if he's able to clear our 8-drop, if he can't kill us this following turn, we're going to be able to win the game on the crackback.
Oh, absolutely. We could try to get rid of some of our own board here. Play some stuff.
I'm feeling like it's fair to put down a 7-cost Luffy, probably replacing our Nami, because at this point we don't really need the search. We just want to put high value game pieces on the board, and especially another blocker right now is going to solidify the chances of us guaranteeing us to untap alive next turn.
Let's swing for 9. He takes 9. Let's have 2 non-open.
How do you feel about attaching 1 Dawn? Or no, he has a 7-cost blocker.
Yeah.
I was thinking about us attaching 1 to our Uta blocker, then replacing it and Nami to play 7-cost Luffy.
He kills that Uta. Now we can just play ours.
Probably just no effect here, right?
Yeah, probably just no effect, unfortunately. And then we pass. No events in hand, unfortunately. Only way he even has a chance of a comeback here is if he has another 10-drop.
I mean, that's always the name of the game. If you have 2 back-to-back 10-drop Dofi, I feel like you win the game 9 out of 10 times, similar to the Big Mom matchup.
So let's see here. He's just attacking us for 10. That's kind of sketch. I really don't like that. So we're going to counter out of this from hand.
No, Dracul Mihawk, you were discarded too soon. We need to see your potential.
I agree. Swinging 8. He has 7 up. I wonder what he's going to do. Let's hit him with that 1K.
All right, first we got to leave the block stepster. Dude, there's so many things he could do. And they all have to correlate to him having a 7-drop Luffy.
He plays 7-drop Luffy, which plays him a 4-drop Brook, which plays him a Nami, or maybe even a Nuda blocker. Okay, he played Restand.
That's the one that lets you re-attack?
Yep, he played I'm Invincible. We still have a card in hand, so we don't really care.
I feel like there was a way he could have played this turn better. I feel like he could have potentially like used his I'm Invincible in a better way to challenge our kid.
Oh, probably, yeah.
He obviously he couldn't win. If he didn't have a 10 cost Dofi, there's no way he was gonna be able to stop us from killing him on the crackback. But I do think that I'm Invincible is a very good card, and he just didn't show us like the correct way to play it. So he's gonna go ahead and use a backlight.
Resting our Uda. Okay, we're just gonna kill our 7-drop. Rest in peace, 7-drop. Draw a card. Oh, New Genesis.
New Genesis for fun.
Let's see what we get. Oh, look at that! I'm invincible.
Let's go, baby. GG's, okay.
Like
And do we have time for another game?
We have time for another game.
Okay. Hopping into game number 2 versus Green Yellow Yamato. I've never actually played versus Yamato, so this will be an interesting one.
So this is a pretty nice hand. Has a Mihawk, has a Nami, but no Brook or Film Law. So we're probably gonna mulligan.
Okay.
Oh my god, we have combo.
We have the
We have
combo!
combo.
Let 'em know.
Oh my god, okay. It's so over.
Let them know you're about to see the combo here on Beats by Ash's channel. One combo equals 1 like on the video.
Play Film Law.
Okay.
This is the most broken combo of OPO6. This is the new shambles. Oh, we're being swung at for 8. This guy has double attack. He gets an effect if we're at 3 or less life. So, what are we gonna do? We just take this.
Okay. Yeah, screw him. We like to combo.
Cool, he swung at us for 8. He has no field presence. We like this.
This is literally the best combo in OPO6.
This is the combo of OPO6. We're gonna go Film Law. We're not gonna risk getting it popped by swinging because we're playing against yellow and they have a lot of stuff that can kill our stuff. So we're just gonna choose to bounce it back, playing our 3 or less Mihawk. Mihawk effect is gonna play a 4-cost slash character, which is Brook. Brook effect is gonna play our Nami. Nami effect on play. We're gonna search. Let's grab a Monkey D. Luffy for next turn. Still have 2 Dawn active. So we could either play another Law, but that seems kind of wasteful. So instead, we're gonna go attach 2, swing 7, and draw a card.
Why did you just get to fucking pay 1 Dawn to put out 10 Dawn worth of characters? This is broken. This is literally Exodia in one piece.
This is Exodia, yep. So now our hand is pretty nice. Honestly, probably should have activated a New Genesis, hoped for some counter, but he has to establish a board here, otherwise he just loses.
It's okay.
Up, he's gonna swing at us for 10. Okay, we don't have enough counter in hand. We're gonna take this double hit.
Well, shit. We need a blocker, man.
Cool, it's back to us. We're at 6 Dawn. We're gonna go New Genesis, add a blocker. There we go.
You love to see it. Let's go.
Love to see it. We're gonna pop another New Genesis, see what we can get.
We just need to get rid of all of our non-counter cards here, right?
Yeah, oh, not necessarily. We have a Brook we can play into an Uda.
We probably want an event so that we could restand someone, right?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna grab a Backlight. Backlight here lets us kill something in case he plays it. We have 4 Dawn up, so what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna play Brook play Uda blocker, still have 2 Dawn, so I'm gonna go effect, swing for 5, search card, grab myself an Usopp, which is the only card I can grab.
If you were good, you would have illegally added a 10 cost Dofi. That's what I would have done.
That's the ultimate play. Oh, discarded. Last Dawn, we're gonna attach it to our Uda.
Wait, what the fuck is that event? I've never seen that before.
Oh, we have an I'm Invincible.
Okay, double event action.
You're the one who should disappear.
Now we are able to use our Uta's ability by disc. Did you use the ability?
No, I did not.
What the fuck?
Well, I want him to swing at my Nami.
Okay.
Because right now, if he swings at this, I'm gonna have 0 life.
Okay.
Oh, he put a card from his hand into his life. I'm wondering what it's gonna be. It might be a Noah's Ark. Do you know about Noah's Ark?
Fuck no.
Noah's Ark is the new 6-drop event from OPO6, which says if this card is in your life, it's a trigger, play it, and its effect on play says rest all of your opponent's characters.
That's broken as fuck.
It's pretty nice. Oh, he's gonna be swinging at us with 8 with Banish because of Onami.
Oh, damn.
Have you seen Onami? Give up to one of your leaders or characters Banish for this turn. With the double attack, it's pretty deadly. But we're not really scared of this here. We can just go Chopper, discard a Double Law. Or, well, I'll just discard an Usopp.
Usopp is my least favorite Straw Hat Pirate, so I'm okay with that.
Ooh, it is over. He's not about to know what hit him. So we're going to start swinging off with 5.
Are you looking to use the I'm Invincible this turn?
Yes, today it's an I'm Invincible. Honestly, I'm kind of scared that he's going to have a pretty good trigger here because he did get to place a trigger. Oh, it is a Noah's Ark. I called it.
Ooh.
So Noah's Ark, kind of sketchy. But it's okay, because we're just gonna go attach 4, swing for 9. No cards in hand. We have the I'm Invincible. Swing again, it's game.
Let's go, baby.
Big W's in the chat.
Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up the gameplay portion of this video. Shout out to the homie Ortiz for pulling up for this one. If you guys have any questions about the deck, make sure to let us know down below. Thank you so much for getting this far in the video. We're going to be having some IRL gameplay content coming out in the near future. As always, if it's not the goo, it's got to go. Peace.
Is that indigo?